Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about camp ovens. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Like I just said, we're going to be talking about different types of camp ovens today. So I'm going to show you a few different types and styles that I've got and kind of how you use them. Now first up here is probably the first one you think of when you think of ovens for camping, and it's a cast iron Dutch oven. So I'll bring you in for a bit of a closer look. So here we have it, standard Dutch oven. This one's made by Overmont, but you've got Petromax and millions of other makes as well. It doesn't really matter what you go for. This one has feet, so it's quite good if you're putting it directly over the coals. Lifts it up a little bit if you don't have like a trivet to put it on or something. Has a bell handle for hanging it. Sometimes it'll have a little notch just to keep it straight. This one does have a little alignment thing there, and that's for letting out steam. You've also got these kind of feet, if you will, on the top, which allows you to stack them. Also allows you to use the lid like a pan, which is very handy. So you've got kind of two in one there. You don't have to take a cast iron skillet as well as a Dutch oven. Now if I take the lid off here, inside you've got a lid lifter. You don't have to use one of these. You can use a stick that you flatten down on one side, or just wear leather gloves. And inside you'll see here I've got a trivet. Many trivets available. This one's just a cheap one, only raises a little bit, some raise a lot higher, and what that will do, allow you to use this like an oven. Now you've probably seen stews and all sorts cooked in these, but to use as an oven you do things slightly differently. Now it is helpful to have a trivet, though you don't have to have. You just have to be a bit more careful with your heat management. Now if you watch my main Kent Survival channel, you're going to have seen me baking these before, roasting them and all sorts. And the main way you do that is have heat underneath in the form of coals, because they're easier to regulate, and with your lid on you can add coals to the top as well. You can rotate it just to get an even bake in there, and you can do hot baking, cold baking, you can bake bread, roast meat, etc. You can also use it on a tripod if you've got flames underneath and you're taking most of the coals for putting on the top, but they are very versatile. The problem with them is the weight. Now if I've got a walk of maybe 2 miles or under, I'll consider carrying it in its case, but other than that it's for kind of truck camping really. You can get Dutch ovens in all sorts of shapes and sizes, down to like the little 1 litre ones, even smaller, but they're kind of more meant decoratively or for serving food, up to massive ones. I've got a 8-quart, I think it is, one, which I think is about 9 litres, something like that, and that's my biggest one. Cast iron is really good at holding heat, so once it's up to temperature you don't have to add much heat, because the heat of the cast iron itself will keep cooking what's inside. So you have to bear that in mind when you're taking this off the fire as well. If you're keeping the food in there, it will carry on cooking. Next up here is your kind of lightweight alternative, I guess. Not super lightweight, but light enough, lighter than cast iron. This is a billy can. This one is by Zebra. You've likely seen these before. My one has a broken handle here, this one. But yeah, these are Thai. They're not made as billy cans, they're for transporting food rather than cooking, but the camping community is really latched onto them. So you have a lid. They tend to have a small tray that goes in them as well. I haven't got it here for this particular demonstration, but with these you can put them directly on your coals like so. Get yourself, or make yourself, some kind of grill that fits in like so, so you can put your food directly on there. Keep your food as far away from the sides and top as possible. You can put stones on the bottom there. They will collect and hold that heat, because this doesn't hold heat like cast iron does, so they'll help with that baking process. And secure your lid on. Now you can do it just like that, maybe put some sticks or coals under to kind of hold it steady. Firebox stove, make a whole kit where you can put coals on top, but you can just, you know, rest fire logs on fire over the top Simon, a bloke in the woods, my good friend, over on his channel, he has his own system. He takes his handles off, he uses aircraft wire, puts the handle on and kind of twists it under there and holds it in place. I think he just uses like a coat hanger system on top. But yeah, you can buy ways of doing it, you can come up with your own ways, but that is essentially how you do it. You can just use some heavyweight tin foil to make some kind of shelf in there. These I think were from AliExpress. Everything in this video I'll try and link below in the description field so you know how to find things. But this comes as a part of two, this one and a bigger one, so you can put on logs over a fire. But this is something a lot of you will already have, and it's another way of using it other than sort of stew things and boil things. Also a cheaper way of doing it, as well as lighter weight. Now, for a lot of you, having a campfire maybe isn't an option or isn't always an option, and there is other ways of using ovens at camp. So for example, maybe you like using gas and already have a gas stove such as this little camp gas stove. Well, there is other options as well. You've got a fold flat Coleman oven. Now this one's a vintage one. I think they're all kind of silver now, finished. But this one is very old. So I'll set this up and I'll show you how this is used. So here on the bottom is the camp stove. You would do this on a flat surface, not on a tree stump. And this is probably going to fit a little bit better on an actual Coleman one. It's going to be designed for that, but this is the one I have just to demonstrate. So it all folds up and just clips in, and you've got your door on the front here which has a thermometer on it, very handy. And inside you've got your shelf, and down the bottom there, it's not held in right now because of the way I've set it up, you've got like a displacement sheet. So a piece of steel which displaces the heat because it's quite concentrated. They take a little while to get going, to come up to temperature, but they do work rather well. And this would be ideal for campsites. It's not especially lightweight, to be honest, but yeah, it's a good option. These, I think, in the UK aren't certified and can't be sold here. I think. I'll correct myself down below. So you may have to import one if you're in the UK. In the US, readily available. But yeah, that's a Coleman gas camp oven. Well, we're on a roll here. The final type I've got to talk about here, and I've got two examples, are ones to use with wood stoves, tent stoves. So if you're lucky enough to have a tent stove already, there are options. Both of mine are by Winterwell, so I've got the Winterwell stove with me. But, you know, one of them will work on others, the other one is more integral. You can also get tent stoves that have ovens built into them, so they have a fire chamber and an oven next to it. I believe Outbacker do a version of that. I'll look all these things up, link below. So yeah, if I set this stove up here, I'll actually demonstrate this one for you. So the first one I've got here is a folding one. It's called the Fast Fold. And with this one you just clip on like you do with the folding stoves themselves. Just to lock everything in place, and then you've got your lid to do the same. Got two racks, so you can cook things different heights, different temperatures. Latch and a window, which is very handy if you're baking, and your thermometer as well with Fahrenheit and Celsius on. So this one, if space is an issue, obviously weight isn't going to be too much of an issue if you're taking a tent stove, but this will go on lighter ones like your titanium stoves and stuff as well. I have tried that, and it just takes that heat from here. It has like a metal gauze on the bottom, and yeah, it's a great oven. Now the last oven I'm showing you here is another one by Winterwell, so it fits onto their system, and this one is the Chimney flue oven. So it's got a window and a thermometer like before, your front door, but as you can see the stove goes in the bottom and out the top, and it is double walled, so that heat, that smoke is coming up around these double walls all the way around the back as well, and then out your chimney, so you're really making use of that heat that could ordinarily be wasted. This oven is extremely efficient, so it can get hot quick. I also find in my big bell tent it's also a good way of getting more surface area and more heat throughout the tent. So again, 2 shelves. Obviously your bottom's probably going to get quite hot, but I do find this one a lot more even throughout temperature wise. Now this oven won't take the capacity of the fast fold one, which will take this size of tray, so you do need quite small ones to go in there. So you're not looking at huge food to go in here, maybe a poussin, maybe, you know, I've baked turnovers in here and stuff, small tray of chips, that sort of thing, and you can fit a Chicago Town pizza in there. Going to keep it nice and easy today, just use some fire lighters. And I've just axed a few bits of wood, so we're not doing a long cook today. You see, you can fit quite long pieces in here. I've just got one of them ready-made cinnamon swirl rolls, just for a quick demonstration. So I'm just going to do a few slices to cook in the oven. Two on each tray should be enough. Now you can see the thermometer starting to rise, so I get a bit higher and I'll put these in. Okay, we're pretty good temperature wise, not quite up there, but it's still heating up, so I'm going to put them in, keeping them away from the sides, and I may swap the shelves halfway through the bake. Now it's easier for me to see them on the camera, and I do need to clean that glass, but you can see them starting to rise already. And 10 minutes later I think we're about done. Oh. I'll glaze these when I get home, but for now that's good. Well, I hope that's given you a bit of an insight into how you can bake and roast at camp with like a type of oven, and what ones are available and what ones suit what style of camping you do. So thank you very much for watching. Get over to the Kent Survival channel and watch me cook with some of these.